Good morning. It's been a few weeks since I've made a video talking about some of the different books that I've been reading. I want to touch on that a little bit today. Here we are in, I think it's about the fifth week since we've been together. And I want to bring you a new installment of Bandy and Bookland Corona Time Part 3. So, I want to hit on a couple books I've been reading and about a new book that's going to be coming out to maybe consider. The first book that you're going to see here is Backfield Boys. Now, Backfield Boys is a novel that I've talked to you about in class a couple of different times. And I mentioned it with the fight with John Feinstein as being a favorite author of mine. I got a chance to read Backfield Boys over the chronocation. I've read 7 different books so far, completed 7 different books. I got a bunch going on right now, but completed 7 different books over chronocation. Backfield Boys is one that I completed. I've mentioned this one, and like I said, in class a couple times. It's a young adult novel, very good. Definitely a sports theme that is in there, but there's another theme that takes place as well. But these two boys, they end up getting these football scholarships in high school to a private school. And they think things there are pretty good, but as they're going along, they realize that not everything is as good as it is to be believed at this school. And they go about and find some kind of sad issues that are taking place, and the boys meet some new friends, and they go about talking about some of the different things happening at this school that they are at. Again, Backfield Boys, well worth the read. If you're a sports fan, you'll get your sports fix in Backfield Boys. If you don't like sports, still a good story. Harry Potter. Now, some of you may have read Harry Potter before. I don't hear students talk about Harry Potter like I did whenever I started an education about 20 years ago. Um, During that time, Harry Potter was a phenomenon. And many of you may have seen some of the movies. Some of you may have read the Harry Potter books. But Harry Potter is a book that I never thought I would read. Um, but I bought the books a couple years ago in hopes that my children might pick them up. They haven't picked up the Harry Potter like I thought. But once I picked up the series, I thought, I think maybe I will take the time to read it at some point in the future. I thought they might be a retirement book that I would get. Here's the box with the whole series. Anyway, um, I decided during the chronocation that I would take some time to read Harry Potter. Last week I finished the first book, The Sorcerer's Stone. Great read. I'm very disappointed that I put off Harry Potter for so long. It is definitely a great book for young adults, but as an adult, I really enjoyed Harry Potter as well. And I just had this thing in my head that was all about witches and stuff like that. But there is a good story that takes place. I'm into the second book in the series right now, and I found it to be just as good. So some of you might be looking to kill time. If you have Harry Potter around the house, I'd highly encourage you that you pick up Harry Potter and begin to read it. I fell into great enjoyment of Harry Potter as I read it. All right, the last book that I want to talk to you about is this is actually a book that's going to be coming out. John Grisham, I mentioned to you as well. He's one of my favorite authors. I know there are some of you in class who really enjoy John Grisham, and I'm glad to hear that. But he has a lot of stories that deal around the law and some kind of thing that needs to happen uh, to fix it. There's a bit of a mystery, crime, detective type stuff that happens within the John Grisham books, in most of his law books anyway. This Camino Island is different than many of his law books. Camino Island is a book about well, it takes place at a place obviously called Camino Island, and it's somewhere on the East Coast. I'm thinking it was in um, one of the one of the Carolinas, maybe Georgia. I can't remember right now. But this girl decides she needs to take a vacation and goes to Camino Island, and she meets some people there. A lot of it centers around of a bookstore. Just a sweet, nice little story, but it's definitely different than the detective stories that he has. I really enjoyed Camino Island. Well, next week, John Grisham is having a follow up to Camino Island. I didn't even know he was doing this, but I'm so glad he is. He has the second book coming out, and it's called Camino Wins. So whenever bookstores open again, that will be one of the first purchases that I make, and I'll be looking forward to it. But I wanted to touch on this Camino Island today, if that's a book that you might think about picking up, maybe get an e-version of or something, checking out, because the second book, Camino Wins, will be coming out soon. So again, two books that I've read, one that I'm looking forward to, and there's a little bit for you on the Wednesday reading, Bandy in Bookland, Part 3.